I don't know where I was. The streets stretched endlessly in both directions, but I kept walking forward, like I was being pulled by something. Rain pattered steadily on my jacket. Each drop loud, sharp, like it was the only sound the world remembered how to make dot around me. The buildings stood like silent witnesses, tall, broken, abandoned. Windows were either smashed or sealed, like whatever lived here before didn't want to be seen, or didn't want to let anything out. The lampposts flickered, throwing sickly yellow light across the wet pavement. Each step I took echoed, empty, alone, but I wasn't alone. I felt it, not saw, not heard. Felt the faintest sound, a second pair of footsteps, just behind me. Walking when I walked, stopping when I stopped. I turned my head, and the mist only thickened. I kept walking, unsure where my feet were taking me. The mist parted just enough to reveal it. Standing at the end of the street like a wound in the world. A building, red dot, not brick, not rust, but red, like dried blood, painted into wood. A hotel, maybe. Or what used to be one. The closer I got, the quieter the world became. The rain seemed to muffle itself. Even my breathing felt distant, like I was already inside. Then I saw them, spider lilies. They grew in tangled masses outside the entrance. Dozens of them, blooming unnaturally bright in the dark. I stopped in front of the door. It was already open, just enough to let someone slip in. I didn't think. I just stepped through, and inside, I saw a face I knew. The lobby was quiet. Not the kind of quiet you find in late nights or empty rooms. This was the kind that pressed against your skin, thick and unnatural. Everything inside was tinted in faded red, like old velvet left in the sun, too long. The furniture was antique, misplaced. Time didn't seem to move here. Then I saw him behind the desk, standing, not moving, not blinking. A man in an old concierge uniform. He felt familiar. I don't know how or why, but something in me said, "You've seen that face before." It should have made me feel safe. It didn't. I asked, "Do you have a room?" He didn't answer, just smiled, slow, unnatural, like his skin didn't know how to stretch that way anymore. Then silently, he lifted a key, brassled, the tag read. 2003. A thin red string was tied through the loop. Still smiling, he pointed to the elevator and said only one thing. "Remember the red string on the door handle." I stepped into the elevator. The floor creaked under my feet, as if it didn't want to hold me. Everything inside was red, not warm, not comforting, just suffocating. The light overhead flickered, casting a dull orange glow that made the velvet walls bleed into the shadows. I didn't look for a button. I just stood there. The doors began to close, slow, heavy. But before they sealed, I saw him, the concierge, still standing by the lobby, still smiling. His face framed perfectly by the narrowing crack in the door. He didn't move, but I swear, I heard him, not through the air, not with my ears, in my head. Remember the red string, on the door handle. And then, I was alone. When I stepped out, the hallway was already waiting. It was too long, too quiet, like the air had been holding its breath. The carpet was dark red, worn thin in the middle. My footsteps barely made a sound, like the floor had forgotten how to echo. I looked at the doors on either side. They were all the same pale wood, crooked knobs, numbers that seemed hand-painted. I walked slowly, reading them under the flickering lights. 2001 then. 2001 again. I blinked. No, the next one was different. 2002, I felt. Something tightened in my chest. The red string in my hand brushed against my skin. It felt damp. I kept walking. Every step felt heavier. The hallway didn't curve, didn't change, but it felt like it was turning in on itself. Finally, at the far end, 2003, the number looked old, crooked, painted over several times, as if someone had tried to erase it, and failed. I stopped. The key in my hand pulsed with warmth, and I knew whatever was behind that door was waiting for me. I opened the door. It creaked, not loud, but enough to make me pause. The room was normal. Small bed, beige wallpaper, a faint buzzing light that made the walls hum. It smelled of old air, stale linen, but it was warm, not comforting warm, too warm, like something had been breathing in there just moments before I arrived. I tied the red string on the door handle, just like he said. My fingers shook as I did it. I tried not to think about why the knot held. I placed the key on the nightstand, and sat on the bed. The mattress groaned softly beneath me. I stared at the ceiling. My eyes were heavy. My body didn't want to move anymore, and for a moment, I forgot why I was afraid. I let go. I let myself drift. But even as I closed my eyes, I knew something was wrong. The silence in the room was too perfect, too deliberate, like it was waiting for me to fall asleep. I don't know how long I was asleep. It couldn't have been long. I woke up to a sound. A knock. Soft, precise one. Two. Then silence. I didn't move at first. My limbs were heavy. My head was filled with cotton and fog. Then again, knock, knock, knock. Louder, closer. The sound felt like it was pressing through the walls. Through my chest I pushed myself up. My knees barely held. The room tilted. The light above me flickered like it was breathing. The knocking didn't stop. It just kept going. Louder, faster, almost angry. I stumbled toward the door. I wanted to ask who it was, but my voice stayed buried in my throat. I reached for the peephole. My hand shook as I leaned in. I looked through. I looked. I wish I hadn't. Through the peephole, there wasn't a person. There was an eye red, raw, staring without blinking. Without breathing, it wasn't looking into the room. It was looking into me. I couldn't pull away. My breath caught. My muscles locked inside the eye. I saw something, a reflection, me kneeling, crying and smiling, like I wanted it to find me. Then nothing. No knock, no scream, just silence. And then I woke up. My room, my desk, the smell of coffee. Just a nightmare. That's what I told myself. I didn't move at first. I didn't even blink. Then I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and turned on the coffee pot. I opened my journal, the blue one, and I started writing it down. The rain, the corridor, the key, the knocking, the eye. I wrote until my hand ached. I don't know why. Maybe because I wanted to forget it. Maybe because I knew I wouldn't. Maybe because it wasn't a dream. It just hasn't finished yet. And I needed to remember. What comes next?